What up everybody? Welcome to the newest Q&A. Today is Monday and we're gonna do those questions. Now if you want to join up in the Q&A, all you gotta do is leave a comment on this video. I'm gonna heart it and by next Monday you're gonna get your shit answered. So without further ado, let's kick it off. First question is from Ory Lux. Hey bro, I just came back to WoW after 5 years. 5 years, damn. What was like? That was Warlords of Draenor, was it? I decided to play Ret Paladin. Love your videos. Thanks man. Thanks for doing the Q&A. Sure thing. What stats should I focus on? PvP and PvE, mastery, crit or versatility? Can you recommend any good paladin add-ons for arenas RPGs? Thanks. Well, for stats, the thing is, for PvE maybe it's a bit different, but I don't think so. So your main stat is strength. That is going to be on all of your gear. And the second one, like from secondary stats, you want to get as much haste as possible. So crit, not even close. In PvP at least, crit doesn't do as much damage, so it's really nerfed in PvP, at least for Ret Paladins. Versatility can be good if you're like really struggling with surviving. And mastery is like the second best, so I would go for haste first, like at least 20% haste, and then mastery after. The thing about haste on Ret Paladins nowadays, apart from the fact that it lowers the cooldown for your Judgment, Crusader Strike, and Blade of Justice, it also reduces the downtime we currently have. Like overall, that GCD thing is a really nag in the back, man, trust me. So you want to get as much haste as possible, like, you know, haste enchants as well, haste rings, all of that. I'm gonna have a PvP guide for Ret Paladin specifically where I talk in more details about these things. But when it comes to add-ons for arenas and RPGs, for RPGs, battleground targets, I don't know if that's still a thing, but that was like the best one. And for arenas, I don't know, Gladius X. I'm tell you what, I'm gonna link in the description a video I made about my UI, which has a lot of PvP utility add-ons over there as well, like big debuffs, you know, Gladius X, SUI, and a bunch of other good shit. So make sure to check it out in the description, Corey. And thank you for the question, brother. Keep them coming. Okay, next one is from Spaldos. Hi Marcinian, love the vids. Thanks, dog. I was just curious, how come your English is so good? What? Another question, do you think they should disallow flying in war mode for the entire expansion? Cheers. English so good? I don't know, man. It's I get a lot of people telling me to stop pretending I speak like this or stop impersonating something I'm not. The fact of the matter is, I speak English from like an early age. I don't think I'm that good at it, but I think I can maintain a conversation and shit like that. Just the fact that I don't know as many words as a native speaker, sometimes you're gonna hear me a lot saying shit, fuck, all that cursing. So I hope you're okay with that. But overall, I think I can manage with my English and all of these slangs. This is because I listen to a lot of hip hop and a lot of black stand-up comedy, so it kind of got into me. I'm sorry, it's just how I talk English all the time. Now, when it comes to flying in war mode for the entire expansion, I don't think it's necessary after some point. I mean, they should keep non-flying for a lot of time, which they probably will. But the thing is, you have this this trinket, not trinket, this toy you get from doing a couple of PvP quests that allow you to dismount players who are flying in if they're in war mode. Right, so you be on the lookout for that. I don't remember exactly the name, but I'm gonna put it on the screen once I edit this shit, so you know what to look out for. I don't think they should like totally kill it for the entire expansion, because at some point you do want it, you know, when you're trying to level up alts, when you're trying to like get reputation with your alts as well, it can be a bit more tedious, right? So that has grown to be part of the game. So I think it would be really nasty if they just didn't allow flying in war mode altogether. But they did address this with that toy, okay? So thank you for the question, my brother. Keep them coming. Alright, next one is from one of our Patreons, Hellhunter. What is the future of the Heroes of the Storm team? Right, so this is in regards to the team we're partnering up with, which Hellhunter is a part of. It's Mostar. So from what I have talked with him, They're not gonna be Prime Legion anymore. They're gonna be back to the plain old Mo stars, which more or less stands for Marsilian Online stars. It's basically the Heroes of the Store team that we're associating with, and we're proud to be part of that project, and Hellhunter is part of that core team also. So the future is you guys get back, you know, to the old Marsilian Online Strictly things, and you're gonna do beautiful stuff. I don't know, Heroes Lounge, you know, getting better ranks onto the ladder. But you guys are gonna see a lot of like Heroes of the Store montages coming in the following months with our Most Stars roster. So be on the lookout for that. Thanks for the question, man, and thank you for your support. Alright, next one is from Kevin Thornton. Love the videos, keep up the great work. Thanks, Kevin. My question is, do you think honor points received from PvP will be viable again in BFA for gear purchases? Are they worth saving, or should I just be buying same old potions and flasks? Potions and flasks? In PvP? What the hell you on about, Kevin? That shit don't work in PvP, bro. Now, regarding honor points, the thing is now you don't have like classic currency as you used to. You gather that shit up and buy items, but rather your honor points or conquest points or whatever, they fill up a bar, and once that bar is like filled up, you're gonna get a piece of gear. It's similar to how the mythic system works nowadays, right? So once a week you're gonna get a big ass gear, apart from, you know, drop chance from winning matches and shit like that. So that's how it works, and flasks and potions don't really work in PvP anymore. So if you're gonna raid or do dungeons, sure, but if you plan on PvPing, forget about potions and all that jazz. Thanks for the question, Kevin boy, keep them coming. Alrighty, next one is from good old Kova Retro. What do you think of using Coastal Surge enchant for your weapon for the heal it gives? It triggers all the time when in combat and triggers off Greater Blessing of Wisdom as well, so you can give it to a teammate too. I find its effectiveness to be around the same as Greater Blessing of Might. But Coastal Surge, isn't that like I know it's a heal over time effect. I've tested out in the beta, and I used a couple of like healer specs took that shit. So I never like tried it on my Ret, but on my Priest I tried it, and on my Holy Paladin as well on the beta, on the Gladiator Sanctum. But Blessing of Might didn't that give attack power? I don't understand the comparison like here. This enchant procs like healing over time. I mean, maybe it's good, I don't know, but if I were to be answering this, like keep it 100, I would still go for the haste enchant, like the quick navigation enchant for the weapon, for a Ret Paladin. I mean, I know we shouldn't be like focused 100% on dealing damage and all of that as Reds, but focusing too much on off healing and, you know, not being like consistent with the other stuff may not be an answer too. So I don't know, maybe we could test it out and see how it works. But for me, I'm still keeping to my haste. Give me that haste, I need haste. Thanks for the question, man. Keep them coming. Alrighty, next one is another classic one from the channel, Tristesse. Love it. Did you ever play Aeon? You needed to take over a base from the other faction, do a few quests that rewarded some tokens to buy PvP gear with. Because of these bases, there was world PvP everywhere. Anyway, that's the best PvP and fun I ever had. What kind of PvP would you add to the game? So to answer the first question, did I ever play Aeon? I did in 2009, I think, for about 2 months. A friend gave it to me for my birthday, and I really didn't like it that much. I enjoyed the graphics, you know, all the effects and all of that. It was beautiful. I mean, I was comparing it to WoW, obviously, but it didn't catch me. Like, it felt a bit grindy at the time. I don't know, I wasn't just feeling it, so I didn't experience all that PvP stuff you were talking about here, world PvP and what so. But when it comes to adding PvP features to the game, meaning World of Warcraft, well, solo queue would be the first thing, right? Hashtag solo queue all the way. And also, I would like make it really priority, at least for the PvP team, to make a 1v1 system, like a dueling system properly. Like make specific arenas for 1v1, you know, not making them that big with pillars and shit like that, and line of sight stuff. And make it like a whole separate thing, right? Like make duels, 1v1 games in specific arenas, and make it like a whole, you know, blown out system. Like that, apart from solo queue, would be something that I would add to the game. right? Like the war games right now can help you do that, but there's no really that's like something, you know, players can opt in to do or not. There's nothing incentivized. There's no system put in place. Imagine if we had like apart from 2v2 and 3v3 rated, 1v1 rated, when you had like, you know, solo players like dishing it out. I think that would be amazing. But you know, awesome question, bro. Keep them coming. Alright, next one is from Felipe Formaggio. Hey buddy, I hope you can help me out on this. Something I think my pal is standing out without even auto attack or even procs. Am I missing haste? Of course you are. On the other hand, when I crit, I really crit. Sometimes I think it would be more solid if I crit less but get more Blade of Justice procs. Have an amazing weekend, thank you. Okay, Felipe, so yeah, that's the major problem with Paladins since BFA. It was a bit of an issue in Legion, but in BFA definitely with all the GCD changes. So there is a lot of downtime, of course. Now, crit, it depends, man. In PvP, I wouldn't recommend crit at all. In PvE, I think it can work definitely, but still your main secondary stat should be haste. And once again, as I've said in the previous question, for PvP at least, you need somewhere around 18% to 20% to be in the sweet spot, but that doesn't mean it's sufficient enough, right? And while having more and more haste, like on top of the main stat, like let's say you're at 20%, also topping that with quick navigation enchant as the right trait, like a Relentless Inquisitor who gives out flat out haste, you know, seals of haste or pact of haste enchants for rings and shit like that. That would make it so as you don't feel you're not able to press your buttons. A lot of haste gives you back all of your abilities, right? It's a no-brainer. And specifically for Reds, we have like Judgment, Blade of Justice, and Crusader Strike that are also reduced. Their cooldowns are reduced by haste. That on top of just minimizing the GCD for all of our abilities, because right now I think only Lay on Hands and Rebuke are off haste, are off the GCD. Rest of them, you know, you go figure. So that's probably why. As I've said, you need at least 18 to 20% haste to not feel as slow as we currently feel. So I hope that answers your question. And also, we're gonna have a Ret Paladin PvP guide this week, and I'm gonna talk a lot about the enchants and all of the haste things and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that shit as well, Felipe. Thank you for the question, man. Keep them coming. Alright, next one is from Dean Loves Himself One. What a good name. Hey Marcelian, nice vids, brother. Really enjoyed them. Thanks, man. My question is, do you think Red needs a damage buff right now? Ooh, I feel like it's a bit weak right now in comparison to Hunter Warrior Boomy. Your thoughts, please. Thanks, brother. Well, you would think that we would need a buff, right? I mean, can you imagine that a couple of weeks ago people were complaining about Red being super overpowered, and we did go, I think, to 2 or 3 phases of nerfs on our damage. Now, I'm hoping you're asking in PvP. Of course, Hunters, Warriors, and Boomkins do more damage than us, but on the other hand, we shouldn't be 100% focused on dealing damage, right? As I said in a previous video, it's not about, when playing Red Paladin, it's not all about damage, not in BFA at least. It wasn't never, but at this point, it's more ideal to sacrifice a bit of that damage you can put out and bring in some of that utility. I mean, sometimes it's better to use a Word of Glory for those 3 holy powers to save your team. Sometimes it's better to kite and dispel your healer or throw a flash of light to him rather than still be connected 100% on your target. Other times it's better to just switch to a target you can hit. I mean, there's a lot of situations where you're gonna fight off mages and elemental shamans and shit like that, and you cannot connect them all the time. What are you gonna do? Just gonna run around silly and not hit nothing? No, you're gonna hit whatever you can. So there's a lot of factors in here. I don't think we need a damage buff necessarily. I think we're fine because we're paired up with a lot of good utility for PvP. What we do need is some sort of movement speed something. Okay, we're slow as fuck. I would understand that being this slow in PvP would mean that we have huge amounts of damage, but we don't, and I'm fine that we don't. It's just that, hey man, give us something, I don't know, an Azeroth trait, something to get out of those goddamn slows, because Frost Mages right now are gods. Like, if they don't do something regarding Frost Mages and Rogues, RMP is gonna be god. I mean, there's gonna be no touching. That's gonna be the main comp. So that's my 2 cents in it, man. I hope it cleared the air a little bit. But thank you for the question, Dean. Loving yourself. Keep on coming, brother. Alright, next one is from good old Fracksee. Hey man, really enjoy your videos. I'm really happy to see you back on YouTube. Yeah, it feels good, man, thanks. I know we talked today, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you miss me? I would say 8 to 9, my brother. Now, Fracksee is a dude that I used to play with and, you know, did a lot of YouTube shenanigans back in the day. I think it's like, I don't know, man, with 2006 years ago. He was just a little kid back then, and he's all grown up now into college and shit. You know, he's like a 2400 Ret Paladin, doing really good, so props to him, man, and I'm happy to see that he's still playing and still getting back to the channel as well. He used to do YouTube too. Maybe you can get back into YouTube as well, dog, after you finish up with all that aerospatial engineering, you know, genius shit you do. Thanks for the question, my brother, keep on coming. Alright, next one is from Ory Lux. Hey Marcelian, what's your thoughts on the red PvP talent Divine Punisher? The 3 holy power from 2 judgments seems good. Oh yes, definitely. So this is one of the options you can definitely take when you're playing 2v2 arenas as double DPS, sometimes even with a healer as well. It is really good, but it is situational once again, and depends on the comps you're facing, right? Like by theory, if you're gonna have a lot of holy power to spend, you will need to connect all the time to use that holy power. Granted, you can take execution sentence, you know, to use it on that if the target is far away, and you do have to use the judgment on the same target. In PvP3s, it's kind of a bitch because there'll be a lot of instances where you cannot hit the same target. You're gonna be slowed, you know, kited, CC'd, or whatever, and as Reds, I think it's safe to say at this point, you gotta hit whatever you can, okay? But it is a good talent, and I definitely take it a lot in 2v2 arenas when I'm playing double DPS. So thanks for the question, man, keep them coming. Alright, next one is from another Patreon of ours, Joshua Elliott. What is the cube root of 9 times the square root? Okay, man, totally kidding, I don't do public math either. Okay, real question though, there are tons of Azeroth traits that give haste, true, but most of them require build up, all of them except one. If you get to choose between a talent that procs haste or builds haste slowly versus smaller but constantly available haste, like the haste avoidance one, what would you choose? Oh, you mean Azeroth traits. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What the fuck, dude? I just wanted to hear say it on camera. Okay, let me try it once again. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You gotta pronounce it in the comments to let me know how it's pronounced, man. So yeah, there's a lot of haste proc based Azeroth traits. I've tried a bunch of them on the beta, a lot of them as playing on live, you know, doing skirmishes and mythic dungeons or whatever. I don't like any of them. I don't like proc based haste shit, okay? I'm just gonna give it straight 100. I'm not liking that. The only one I like and recommend, and I talk about it in the PvP guide for Ret Paladins, which is gonna come out this week, is Relentless Inquisitor. If I have to choose from all of them, that's the one, because that is not proc based. That's gonna give you haste once you use holy power spenders, and it's really good. Okay, I'm gonna have more detail on that shit in the video. I'm gonna talk about some proc ones as well, but I don't like them. You know, proc based, we need some more stable shit because we move hard enough already. We have like a bunch of downtime, you know, as Ret Paladins. Might as well get some solid haste stuff to minimize those effects. So thanks for the question, Joshua, and your support. Love you, man. Okay, and the last question is from Andromeda. Hi Marcelian, can you tell us your stat priority for red and sub-rogue for current patch? Okay, there's a lot of questions. It goes to show the season is approaching, you know, mythic dungeons are approaching, people are curious or what is the stat priorities and shit. There's a lot of question on this, so I'm happy about it. For red, as I've said in the previous questions, strength, that's a no-brainer, it's on all the gear. Then haste, then mastery, this is for PvP. For PvE, I think you can replace mastery with crit. I've seen a lot of people using crit and doing really good, at least in dungeons. I don't know about raids, but haste is your friend for life, at least in this expansion, or at least until they change it, because they're still tuning, you know, shit, so you never know. That's for red, haste, mastery in PvP. Now for sub-rogue, you want those eviscerates to hit hard nonetheless, so mastery would still be the #1 secondary stat. When it comes to the second one, I personally go with haste, just because I like that energy regen, you know, and you know, lower a couple of GCD stuff. However, there's a lot of people who go for crit, that's fine as well. Some go even for versatility. I always felt comfortable for sub rogue to go for mastery and then haste. So that's about it. I'm still currently leveling my rogue. He's almost 120 now. I'll need to like test a lot more shit out, but for the looks of it, mastery and haste would be 100% what I would go for on my rogue. So this is it, guys. This is it for today's Q&A. I do hope you enjoyed it. Once again, if you want to get into the Q&A, just throw a question into the comment. It doesn't matter if it's Ret Paladin related, sub-rogue related. You can ask anything you want. It's fine. Thank you very much for all of your questions and sticking around. Once again, I want to take the time to thank all of our Patreons. So Hellhunter, Rumper Foreskin, Joshua Elliott, Kogo Alfer, Xerop, and our newest Patreon joining the team, Heldup. Thank you all so much for your support, and if you would like to help us in that way, Patreon link is in the description. Peace!